Opposite side of the spectrum from our administration services clients, we have our technical infrastructure services clients who are current with the technology of today. These clients may already be set up with good remote, virtual, asynchronous collaboration, back office infrastructure in a modernized and digitized environment according to today's standards. Or if they are not yet set up in this way, it is only because they have just begun their business. Nevertheless, they are absolutely moving forward in and sold on this direction. These clients are tech-savvy companies, commonly in the information technology sector, and technology is their specialty. Because of this, they may need help with technological systems, but this is not because they do not know the systems or do not have the requisite skill set to operate and manipulate these systems themselves. Instead, they do not have the time to do all of the work required for system operations, and they need an extra hand to get the work done that is required. If they have not already set up the infrastructure required for good remote, virtual, asynchronous collaboration, then they need these systems rapidly set up so that they can get to work and get to work now. This is the case with new companies just starting out. Additionally, while these clients are skilled with technology, accounting, legal, and human resource systems may be foreign to them, or they are systems that they do not desire to invest in themselves, but must be in place and operating for the business nonetheless. So, these are the clients that SowCo develops targets for this technical infrastructure services product. They are most often small businesses where one or a few people are doing multiple jobs in order to keep operations small when they can be small. Our services to these clients is to implement systems that they require, including but not limited to human resource systems such as payroll, compliance, performance, timekeeping, expenses, and onboarding, internal and external customer-facing communication platforms such as online ticketing systems, chat and social systems, project management systems, file management systems, and standard operating procedure for file management, shared authentication management systems, which are those that hold and manage secure data records such as vendor login information, banking information, secure notes, addresses, two-factor authentication methods, and emergency account access. Then, besides implementation of systems for these clients, we also develop small-scale applications, such as websites and customized records management systems accessed through a user interface. We develop and document standard operating procedure. We develop automation of services. We develop technical documentation. We implement solutions for technical legalities, regulations, and compliance, such as items involving cookies, privacy policies, and terms of service. Then we do a variety of tasks on a small scale, such as administering servers, company email, domain registration, the company DNS or domain name system, the CDN or content delivery network, and object storage and retrieval from buckets and spaces. For those of you watching this that are familiar with what these tasks entail and the landscape of technology in general, you can see that this service covers a massive area and number of tasks. Hence, we emphasize that this is for the small business and most often those companies just beginning whose operations are still small scale. We set up the infrastructure so that as the company grows, that infrastructure is set up firmly in place and poised to grow well with the company. And as employees are hired, as the company grows, those employees have a solid foundation on which to grow. This enables them to build their respective departments in a controlled and calm, cost-effective, efficient manner. Along with that, we set up the infrastructure having in mind that we want it to carry the company as far as it can on its own without hiring help until it must hire. In other words, we set up infrastructure so that the tools included in that infrastructure streamline and optimize work so much so that work is as lean as it can be so that a company may remain small as long as possible. By working to set up infrastructure in this way, we have in mind keeping costs as low and reasonably contained as possible.